Okay, take two. Greetings, students. Almost halfway through the semester. Woo! This week, you're going to write a small paper about whatever you want. You get to pick the topic. um, I'm not going to grade this paper on content at all. All I'm going to grade it on is technical writing skills, right? Really simple stuff. Spelling, grammar, punctuation, maybe a little sentence structure. The whole point is to try to help you become better writers. Okay, you get two shots at this paper, a first draft and a final draft. The first draft is worth 40 points. That's the one you want to do the best work you can on. Okay, the final draft is worth 35 points for a total of 75. The final draft is very basic. All you're doing is opening up my corrected version of your first draft and making the changes that I want and resubmitting it. Okay? Let's see. If you absolutely cannot decide what to write about, I have included an article on predatory lending. If you don't know what predatory lending is, it wouldn't be a bad idea to find out. This is what happened to people probably in the middle of the last decade, around 2005, when anybody in the world could buy a house, and they were lending money on really shoddy loans. And in 2008, it all came due, and that's when the recession hit. Millions and millions of people lost their homes and lost everything. I don't want that to ever happen to you. So if you want to write it about predatory lending, then you can learn about it and probably guard yourself from every falling prey to these people. Okay. First, though, I'm going to teach you how to use word wrap. Which some of you may know. So I'm going to click that link and then click down here and open up this document and then click Enable Editing. I have here a document with some text on it, and this first picture has text wrapped around it. That's what word wrap does. The picture down below does not have text wrapped around it yet. And there's this giant open space here, which looks really crummy on papers. Okay, so if you want your table, picture, chart, whatever it is that you're going to put in there, to have text wrapped around it, the instructions on how to do that are right at the bottom of this page. You can either double click the picture or the table or the chart, or I think you can right click and change it. What you want to do is change it to a picture file. So after you double click, you'll see this menu up here. The button bar will change. And you'll see in a second where the wrap text button is, and if you drop that menu down and pick tight, then the text will wrap around this picture. Okay, so I am going to bada bing, double click that picture, and up here, as I said, the button bar has changed. Here's the wrap text. If you drop this menu down and pick tight, then the text will wrap around there. It also puts this little icon here, which is the same thing. And if you click it, you'll see text wrapping, but you have to kind of lay the mouse on top to see what you're going to do. Okay, that I have tight, and there it is. Okay, the text wraps around it. The other thing that's cool is once you have this designated as a picture file, you can hold down the left mouse and move it wherever you want. Whoa! Woo! Look at it go! Woo-hoo-hoo! Okay? Probably not a good idea to put a table or a chart or a picture in the middle of a paragraph. You want to have it top left or top right or bottom right or bottom left. Okay? That looks cool. You know, I think the one above, I have it like this. Yeah, exactly. So that's how you do word wrap. Do it for your other classes. I don't know how many other teachers tell students how to do this, and you will look awesome in your other papers for other professors if you can wrap the text. Okay? All right, so let's go back to the class. This is Purdue University's online writing lab. Any possible question you could ever have about writing and formatting and styles is in here. So I put the link in there if you need it. You can consult this OWL guide. And that brings up a good point. I don't care if you write this in MLA or ALA or ASA or whatever A. Whatever style you're most comfortable with, that's fine. That's not what this paper is about. The other thing is that you must find 3 sources or 3 other articles to put with your paper. They do not have to be scholarly or peer-reviewed articles. They can be anything. They can be a video. They can be an audio tape. Whatever you want. Okay? That's also not the point of this paper. You can have all your other classes demand that you do scholarly and peer-reviewed articles. Okay? So, let's see. Oh, Kilpatrick's writing tips. As you can see, I'm an excellent writer, so I've forgotten the apostrophe. Put 2 T's there and put tipsy, so just a little joke. Oh my. So I'm going to click that and click down here and open this. And I have just some tips here about writing. Remember, I'm not grading on content at all. All I'm grading on is technical writing skills. So here's the most important tip that no student ever uses. When you're finished writing your paper, let somebody else read it. Okay? I know you're kind of restricted now because we're not in school and we don't have students all over the place, but if you can find somebody else to read it, they will find mistakes that you have missed. And the whole point about the first draft is to have the fewest mistakes possible. Okay, the most common mistake that writers make is writing way too many words. Okay, less is more makes really super awesome, tight papers. But here's the kick. When you write the first draft, I want you to just write whatever comes into your mind. Go crazy, write with abandon, let her rip. Because that's the easiest way to write a first draft. When you're done with it, then go back over it and see if there are any words or phrases that you can delete. Like these bolded words. They're not really necessary. You could end it at, if there are any other words or phrases you can delete. Okay, so if I was going back over my paper, I would delete these bolded words. Okay, some misused words that I see a lot. Loose and lose. I put the definitions of both of those. Also, than and then are super popular. People transpose these all the time. So I've put the definitions for those also there. The word, however, is a total mind bender. There's probably a half dozen ways that you can punctuate it, but most of you are going to use it like this. You're going to put however in the middle of a sentence. And in that instance, or in that case, you need a comma after the word before however, and also a comma after however. Okay, I didn't learn that until I got into grad school. Oh my, but I'm glad I did. Here's one other situation where The word however doesn't need any punctuation at all. So you could just check that out and see if any of your sentences are like that. But this is the one you really want to pay attention to. Okay, the word which, if it comes in the middle of a sentence, almost always the word before it gets a comma after that word. Okay? Not putting a comma after which, putting a comma before the word if you have which. Okay? Here are 3 examples of citing within text. The third one is what most of you are probably going to use. You put a quote from one of your sources or one of your articles in parentheses, in quote marks, and then the author's name is put in parentheses. And you can put the page number, or if you can't find a page number because it's an internet article, just put the author's name. The really super important thing is where you put the punctuation. If you have a quoted remark followed by an author in parentheses, the punctuation goes all the way after the final parentheses. It doesn't go here and not here. And it doesn't go in both places, okay? When you set up a cite in your paper like this, the punctuation follows everything. Now, here's a different example. Let's say that, oops, oh no, what did I do? There. Okay. If you have a quoted statement without any author in parentheses, then guess what? The punctuation goes inside the quote mark. One student in all my years of teaching showed me a situation where the punctuation followed the quote mark. But just stay safe and put it inside the quote mark. Okay? As long as you do not have this following it. The last thing is, if you introduce the author first, then you do not need to have this after the quote. Okay? If you're saying so-and-so said this, then you just give the quote, put the punctuation inside the quote mark, and you're good. All right? Okay, possessive words need to have an apostrophe inside the word. So here is an example of a sentence with a possessive word. In Mrs. Olson's article, she states that most husbands never ask for a second cup of coffee. And in this instance, I'm putting an apostrophe there because Mrs. Olson possesses that article. It is Mrs. Olson's article. Okay. Here's another thing that will totally confuse you. Let's say that you're saying in Mrs. Olson's articles. Then the apostrophe goes there. If it's more than one item, in this case articles, then the apostrophe goes after the S. If it's just one item, or in this case, one article, then the apostrophe goes before the S. Oh my, are you totally confused yet? Well, here comes the easy part. Here is an example of a properly formatted reference page. Okay? Whether you put references or works cited, that term goes in a centered header above your authors of the articles that you've chosen. Okay? I've given you an explanation of how to cite a book with more than one author, like this one. But way more important than that, this is a mistake that many students make on their first draft. When you have a source that takes up more than one line, all additional lines must be indented. Like this one. This is all one source. So it starts here and it keeps going and going and going. All of these additional lines must be indented. Okay, and you're going to have a lot of fun, some of you, trying to indent these without having this thing move over too, because, Word programs try to help you. So if that happens to you and you're totally jammed up and you can't figure it out, just shoot me an email or come into the office hour and I will show you the magical trick. Okay? So there are all my my little writing tips. Only Microsoft Word or PDF files will be accepted. If you work in Google Doc, which most of you do now, when you are finished writing the paper, you can download the file, or I think it's export the file, and it'll let you export it into Word or PDF, okay, before you upload it. And I have this horrible instruction here. I know some of you are just doing this whole class on your smartphone, which means you are way smarter than me, because I could never do that. But if you have trouble uploading the paper, then you might want to try and transfer it onto a laptop if you can find one that has Wi-Fi, and upload it there. You are going to upload this using what's called a Turnitin folder, and sometimes smartphones have problems hiccuping with Turnitin. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of examples of how to turn it in and where. Let's see what this one looks like. Okay. When you upload your paper and I look at it and make corrections, this is what you're going to see when you open that paper again. You're going to see these white dialog boxes with the blue boxes. And if you click these, then a little box will open up and it'll tell you what I want you to fix. In this case, there should be a space in between the quote mark and the parentheses. Yes, that's how anal I am. Let's see. Children's movies show the truth on. I think I changed this word to about. Show the truth about how America was actually created. At any rate, when you click this little box, another box will open up, and it basically tells you what I want you to change it into. Now, how are you going to get this paper up with the little blue boxes? Well, when you first upload your paper, all you're going to see is about this much. And there's going to be a little icon that says choose file, and you click that. And then there'll be another icon, or no, after you choose file, it'll give you a folder structure, and you have to go find your paper and pick it, and then, or click on it, and then there will be another file that says upload. And that's how you upload your paper. When you go back and look at it, or you want to look at it, you'll see your name over here, and then this little blue pencil is what you want to click. That's what will bring up this, okay? So don't forget about the little blue pencil. And when you upload the first time, that's your first draft. You want to click the blue pencil. I don't really know how students do it, but if it was me, I would use this to make corrections in my original paper. And then I would upload it into the final draft. You have to click this other tab that says final draft in order to get that smaller screen that has the choose file icon and the upload icon. All right. So I think I've told you everything. Write about something that you love or hate, because then you'll be passionate about it, and it'll be so much easier for you. Okay. And again, if you can't figure out anything to write about, go for predatory lending. All right. Have a good time, and I can't wait to read your papers. Happy Monday? Yeah, Monday. All right, bye-bye then.